Hello and welcome back to the shop. I'm Mark at Mark's Upholstery. In this video, I'm going to show you how I custom built this vanity chair using a slipper chair's patterns. Stay tuned. What I have here, right here, is my slipper chair pattern that I use for all slipper chairs I build. It's got the pitch I need in it. It's got generally it's up to 40 inches high. It's got the seat height set for, I can put a 3-inch rail or 2.5-inch rail, whatever I want to do. And you can see I've got a lot of numbers here where we adjust for different heights, occasionally for different tables, but generally, this area here where these are marked, I highlighted those as kind of the standard. So when my system will come out with about a 19-inch seat height. So, but that's the pattern I'm starting with. Now I went and marked on here the overall height that I want for this vanity stool. But because the vanity, in my opinion, is built too high, the decorator has given me these numbers and I'm praying she's got them right. But she shows the bottom of the table being 28.5, and it has a drawer, so it looks like a good 5 or 6 inch area, which is going to push the top of that table to around 34. What you're seeing is a mock-up of what I think this vanity height is going to look like, going by the picture, and that this is 28.5 from the floor. Now you can see I'm sitting in a normal 19 high slipper chair, and what would be the top of this vanity table is coming up pretty much chest high to me, which is way too tall, which this is way too tall, or the chair is way too short, and especially for this lady because she's considerably shorter than me. I'm now sitting in the actual chair that you're getting ready to watch me build. As you can see, it is much lower, down more around my stomach, so it should be a little more operable for her to work from. All right, this is the slipper chair that we're kind of using as the base for our vanity chair. We're gonna take, narrow it a couple of inches, shorten the depth by a couple of inches, raise the seat height by about a couple of inches, and then lower this back down to about 10 inches above the seat. Now, one thing I consider real important in a back post is that you have a good flat surface to mount your side rails to. I'm going to show you how I do this with my back post. Originally, I'd put my pattern, I'm going to show you here, up against, and this is the flat area, or right here. This is the mounting area where you're going to put any boards right here. So I put it right on the straight edge of the lumber that I'm using, and then I'll let it draw off and do its thing. But once you get to the second one now, the first thing you'll want to do is, once you pick the board, I've cut this one where it's just a little bit bigger, and I know that there's plenty of room to get the 2 that I need. Sometimes I need to get, as many as I can, 3, 4 sometimes, but what I have to do is find what is the narrowest part of the board that I'm starting with. This one was out here. It was about, I think it was like 9.5 inches or 9 1/4. So what I did was I run it through and ripped it and gave me a good flush edge over here, because this was a straight line on one side. So if you don't have straight line on one side on your board, you need to make sure you do that before you start this process. Now, to make sure that I get a good flat surface here, and which I don't want to do with a bandsaw, is I take it and flush it up down here on the foot, and try to bring it as far up here. Let's kind of get it from this angle. What I do is slide it up as far as I can to the edge here, knowing that I've got it flushed on my foot here, and then I'll make a mark, and then I'll measure that mark from the back, and I'll cut it off, and I'll have a big flat area here to put this next one and to mark off of this to get a good flat surface. Okay, I have my two back posts, but one thing I like to do with these, because this is not getting a skirt, is I like to narrow off, kind of, put some tailoring into the legs on the inside. Now I've already kind of flared this down a little bit, to be about 1.25 inches. So I want to kind of flare this one down inside to be 1.25 inches. But before I do that, because this was kind of raw stock wood, it's 8/4 poplar, and I liked it to finish 1 3/4 inches, and you can't really get it from the wood supplier that way. So I'm going to have to first take off the worst part of I always pick which side I think is the worst. Now this one's got a little depression in it and some roughness up here, so this to me is the kind of the bad side. And same thing with this one. You can see it's kind of rough because it hadn't been fully shaved down. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off and get these to 1 3/4 inches. Okay, now I've got my mark for where the bottom of my rails go. So all of this right here is leg. Now what I want to do, this is going to be the inside right here. So I need to come over 1.25 inches here, which is usually about there, and about usually around there, about 1/2 inch. Just eyeball it. You can measure if you want. And now I'm going to draw a line from here to just shy of this area up here, just shy of the area up here. I don't want to cut all the way up here, so it'll kind of finish that line off right in here. Normally I'll cut about a 17.25 inch side rail for the slipper chair. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one 15.25. Now I allow the quarter so that I can miter each side of the side rail so it'll give it flare. All right, we now got the frame done. You know, these front legs, I tapered them here on the front, tapered them here on the side, so they'll come out 1.25 inches square down there. Got my shorter front rails, shorter back rails, shorter side rails, shorter back from the regular slipper chair, and it's taken shape to be a cute little vanity chair. All right, next thing this thing's gonna get is we're gonna sand these legs, smooth them down, and stain them, and then we're gonna spray them later, but then we're also gonna put some 6-inch springs in here. Well, it looks like David's got this ready for me. Get back to work. Before adding the second layer of spray stain, I'm going to lightly smooth these legs with double-aught steel wool. Welting should be stapled half on and half off the edge of the frame. Down below, I'm going to trim as much fat as I can by cutting out the welt and the back side of the fabric. Transfer me money instead of writing me a check.